Here's a reason to celebrate. You made it out of road construction. You're moving again. A lot of summers I'd go out on a road trip out east. And on the turnpike, they'd have these 6, 7, 13-mile construction areas. And when you're just starting, it had a frowny face. And then when you're halfway, it had like a flat face. And then it had a big smiling face. And you're just stuck there. And outside of church here on Lake Michigan Drive earlier this week, I'd see lines of vehicles just stuck there. And maybe they're thinking, like Psalm 93, not thinking that it would be so literal, but it says the world is firmly established. It cannot be moved. So, here we are, outdoor devotion, summertime, the reality of road construction in Michigan, and you're wondering, can we be moved when we're stuck? So, I want to share this in Psalm 93, just as a picture when you're stuck, when you're not moving, that God is still at work. And especially now we can see on the other side of this paving project that traffic's moving again. There's noise, bustling, and moving again. So the psalmist says this, the Lord reigns, he is robed in majesty. One of the things we can do when we're stuck, when we have nothing to do but to look around and to observe, isn't just to see the trucks, the road construction vehicles in front of us, or the bumper of that SUV we've been staring at for 20 minutes, but to look around and to pause and to admire the beauty and the majesty of God's creation. And we know that God is always at work in creation. We also see in verse 3, the seas have lifted up, O Lord. The seas have lifted their voice. The seas have lifted up their pounding waves. What happens to the seas up against a rocky shore? Slowly but surely erosion is molding and shaping. We might not be moving, but the work of the Holy Spirit when we're stuck in life might be molding and shaping us like a crashing waves are slowly chiseling and smoothing out and making the boulders shine and glisten. So on a sunrise, reflecting off the waters, it's actually shining up against that rock. We also see here in this psalm, your statutes stand firm. Holiness adorns your house for endless days, O Lord. When it seems like things aren't moving, we can be thankful that God doesn't change and that his word doesn't change and that his statutes and his holiness define his house and define his kingdom and then define the very person who this psalm, along with other psalms, anticipating the arrival of the Messiah, who is going to be this one that brings holiness to the house? It's going to be Jesus Christ. The majestic God, when we feel like we're stuck, we can see it. But we're created in his image, and we're part of his creation, and we're part of his work. So to know that God is at work around us and might be chiseling us and shaping us so that we are more and more in line with what his word says, more and more in line with what his son is like. We can be thankful that God makes all things new. Because even too, the reason why traffic is moving is because when vehicles were stuck and waiting, people were at work, even when they couldn't see a mile down the road. The road construction was happening. When we're stuck, we can be thankful that God is at work and moving and shaping. Remember that in the midst of the noise of life, in the midst of Dana pulling in here, that when we can't see what's happening, the Lord, who does not change, continues to work and to mold and to shape and uphold the world, all the while building up his house to be full of goodness and holiness and likeness of his Son.